Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to do a basic barbell squat. This is essentially a high bar squat, but some people might consider it a hybrid squat, but it's just a basic barbell squat form, and I think most people need to start with a basic form and then find what works for them from there, as far as things like spacing grips on the bar, as far as where you grip it, feet width, things like that. So a lot of these things matter as far as your shoulder structure, your hip structure. In fact, hip structure varies a lot from person to person. Now for me, I always use a very, very narrow grip because of my previous bicep tear. If I use a wide grip on squats, I won't be able to do bench presses, curls, rows, anything for about 2 days at all, because it puts too much inflammation on my bicep tendon, and the bicep tendon gets inflamed, then it pulls tight on this, and it makes my shoulder tendons get inflamed also, and so it prevents me from being able to do other work. And I usually need to have ibuprofen or something afterwards, just because the excruciating pain of it actually will bother me for about a day or two. It will throb, it'll keep me awake at night. So I can't do the wide grip. But the things you want to look at on a squat, the biggest problems you see with people is people getting too loose, and by too loose I mean things like their posterior chain too loose, their shoulder blades too loose, not pulled back tight enough. People having excessive forward lean. Now if you're having excessive forward lean and you fixed your technique, your core is too weak. You need to reduce the weight, spend more time training your lower back, your abs, doing weighted crunches, hyperextensions, whatever it takes for you to build that up. Because it's the problem I see with a lot of people's form videos. Their forward lean is excessive. And if that's the case, and your core is too weak, if you know that you're tight enough, but oftentimes it's that you're not tight enough. So I'm going to demonstrate for you guys just a basic form from the front, and then we'll go into it a little further. Okay, people use different methods to get themselves tight under the bar, and this is going to vary a lot from person to person. For me, I grip right here on the edge of the curling. I get under the bar, I drop down, and then I come up so that I can get the bar on top of my deltoids but behind the trap. So I pinch it between the medial head of the delt and the trap. You get it out, keep those shoulder blades pulled back as tight as possible, look forward, come back. Now I always check my feet to see where they're at. Usually a good place to start is just shoulder width right here, toes slightly out, chest up. You put your hips back just slightly, but they don't need to go back very far. You don't want to go back so far that it makes you have forward lean. So you tighten up your glutes, tighten up your hips, shoulders back, deep breath, drop, drive through the heels. Deep breath, you always reset at the top. Get another breath each time. Make sure your shoulders are back. Deep breath, drive through the heels. You stay upright. All right, I'm going to break some of that down for you guys from the side also so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But you will notice that everything is tight. I'm pulled in really tight. You really focus on keeping the shoulders back, chest up, and those shoulder blades pulled back hard enough that you could crush a walnut between them. You want very intense scapular retraction when you squat. If you get loose up top, you're going to roll forward. Okay. Once you see what I'm doing from the side, you guys will see kind of where I set my hips. The worst thing you can do if you're not doing box squatting or equip squatting is to put your ass back too far like this. Because if you do that, you're going to create a forward lean problem. So just like I was talking about on the deadlift, you want it to come back just slightly like that. Just a little bit. And if you tighten your glutes up and you pull your hips back just an inch, that will set everything correctly. That will get you tight on the bottom. And so let's take a look at this from the side. And then I might have some knee travel, but knee travel has been overblown. As long as you are driving through the heels and you're not coming up onto the balls of your feet, knee travel is fine. And if you are coming up onto the balls of your feet, you need to work on your mobility. You might want to practice some methods of squatting with a lighter weight and picking your toes up off the floor and pointing your toes up so that you're forced to learn to drive through the heels. And if you work on hip mobility and you work on just squatting onto your heels and picking your toes up off the floor over a couple of weeks, that should resolve that issue for you. So let's go ahead and do this. And again, get under the bar, I pull down like this, come up, put it on top of the delts. You notice my shoulder blades are pulled together tight, come out, come back, toes slightly out. Notice my hips come back just a little bit. chest is up, deep breath. Exhale on the way up. Reset. Boom. You go to parallel and you come back up immediately. You want to initiate a stretch reflex. Same thing, chest up, shoulder blades pulled together tight, hips set back just tightly, glutes tight. Inhale, drop, and pop it. And again, if your hips are set correctly and you are driving through the heels, don't worry about knee travel. Your knees will be fine. And again, if you're having any forward lean, if you're going further, more than about 2 inches further than I was going at the bottom, you have a forward lean issue. You've either got to learn to get tighter up top, or you need to start doing some additional work for your core, your spinal erectors, your thoracic erectors, because they're a weak link for you, and they will prevent you from squatting safely and correctly and using as much weight as you could be using. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go.